Did anybody ever try to give a talk before and like 2 minutes before the talk realize they'd have to reverse the entire order of the talk? I'm glad we're in sort of a learning lab environment because that's about what's getting ready to happen here. And the other challenge is, these guys don't know this, but you all know this because you're from America. I'm from South Carolina, so asking me to talk slow and do something in 20 minutes is going to be a challenge in and of itself. So what I want to tell you about is, and as the materials show, what my premise is that I'm a lawyer, right? And so I have to make cases, I have to make arguments. You are information workers. No matter what you do, you're an information worker. I'm an information worker because we all are, because we all do the same thing. In this world, we have to collect a bunch of information, we have to find out about things, we have to organize that in some fashion, we've got to cull through it, we've got to filter it, we've got to decide what's important, and then we have to present it. And that applies no matter what you do, no matter what your job is. Because in your own personal life, let's say you want to go buy a car. What are you going to do these days? You're going to get on the internet, you're going to research 27 different models of cars, how much it should cost, what the invoice price is. You're going to then start to organize it and say, I don't want this, I don't want to put it, I don't want this. You're going to figure out what you really want. You're going to cull through it. Then you're going to get to what you do want. And then you're going to go in the end to a negotiation with your armed with the relevant facts. And you're going to say, I'm not going to pay $22,000 for this car because I know you got it for $20,000. And so no matter what you're doing, those elements become really important in your life and in your work certainly too. My original talk was going to go like this. I was going to show you with a MindJet mind map, which first kind of take you through the process of what do I mean by collect, organize, and present. And kind of talk to you about sort of the Jedi stages. How do you turn yourself into a mind mapping Jedi in 20 minutes or less? And then at the end I was going to put it all together into to show you kind of a story, a visual. And it would all make perfect sense. But now we're going to tip that thing completely upside down. And I'm going to show you the story first. Okay? Now who likes Star Wars here? We're all kind of, okay. Everybody raise your hands because you're all like kind of a quasi-science geeky thing anyway. Okay. So everybody remembers what happened to Han Solo, right? Okay, what happened? A lot of things happened. He got carbon froze, right? And that sucks to get carbon froze, I bet. So let's pretend for a second that we're lawyers and we're representing Han Solo against Jabba the Hutt because did Han owe Jabba money? Of course he owed him money. But does that give him a right to carbon freeze somebody? No. That violates galactic law. We'll talk about that in a second. But let's talk about this story. Okay? So first of all, if I'm a lawyer, and I am, I want to talk about my client a little bit. I want to humanize my client. I'd say, who's Han Solo? Here's my client, Han. He's about 1.8 meters tall, 80 kilograms, brown hair, bedroom eyes. And he was born here, and before you get off on the wrong foot and think, this guy's a rogue, he's a smuggler, let me tell you some good things about Han Solo. You might not know this about Han Solo, but you know this guy, right? Chewie? You know Chewbacca, right? How did they meet? They met at the academy when Han saved Chewie's life, and Chewie was getting beaten by an Imperial officer. So that's why Chewie has this kind of a debt to Han. He's always trying to repay and do the right thing because Han did the right thing. And you might think of him as a smuggler, but you remember all the good things that he's done too. If I can make any of these good things happen, let's see. I mean, we all remember how Han saved the Empire, right? Or not the Empire, the Republic. I'm getting confused. Let's see if we can make this work. Let's see if we can make something. And this is short, if it'll work.
It's working. Violation?
All right. So we know a lot of good things that Han Solo has done. But who's this guy? You remember this guy? Let's see if it'll switch over for me. This is where that law of technical, whatever you try to do goes wrong. Part of the people that stare at you.
Murphy's second generation.
Yeah, what is that? Murphy's law.
Murphy 3.0.
Let's see if we can jump in. Who's this? Anybody know who this is? Greedo, right? And what happened with Greedo and Han Solo? We know all the good things Han Solo did, but what's the bad thing that happened? What did he do that made a mistake? He got into a bet with Greedo and lost the bet. And so who did he turn to try to pay the bet? This guy, Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt. I don't even have to tell you what a bad guy Jabba the Hutt is, because you already know. You know all the terrible things that he did. It's widely known around the galaxy. But for whatever reason, good or bad, Han signed a promissory note with him. Should he have done it? Is Jabba a sleaze? Yes. But it had to be done. What happened as a result? We know what happened. Jabba sent this guy after him. Right? And we know what happened next. Han had to go into he got captured. Lando Calrissian and his friend sold him out. And then we can see all these people here. See if I can get a little pointer here. Alright. There we have Princess Leia. There we have Chewie, his friend. They're powerless to stop this from happening to Han. And you know, you all think carbon freezing is like some picnic, right? Well, let me tell you, it's not. Carbon freezing is serious business. Can anybody in here tell me how a carbon freeze chamber works? Probably not. There's all kinds of evil stuff in there. I mean, you got the power cells, you got the power trunk, you got the carbonite thawing element. You know what tibanic gas does to the skin? Internet. It's all information worker. This is all available to you. Yeah, why is it there? So, does this man look like a happy man? He's in agonizing pain. That's what carbonite freezing does to people. So we're here today to ask you to return a verdict against Jabba, this guy. And what did he do wrong? What are we suing him for? We're suing him for violation of California Civil Code 1300 battery. And these are the elements of battery. And if you're in a jury, these are the things you would have to find. And I'm stepping out of my shoes here for a second on my acting role. If I'm, as a lawyer, one of the things that is a real challenge trying to get people to understand is jury charges, because laws are civil charges, and anytime you sue somebody in civil court, you always have to prove certain elements. And I got to prove this, then I got to prove that, then I got to prove another thing, then I got to prove another thing. And when a jury hears the things that you have to prove, like in this case, they hear it from the judge, and the judge just kind of talks and tells them, and they have a very hard time of kind of hooking that up in their head to what they just heard. And they hear a little story, but how does it relate to this stuff that they just hear and they don't see? Well, let me show you what I'm actually using here for a second, and then I'm going to back into the mapping end of it. What you're seeing right now is a slide. And we talked about the deficiencies of PowerPoint earlier. There's some good things about PowerPoint, some bad things about PowerPoint. But the bad thing about PowerPoint, one of them is that it's linear. You have to go to this, then you have to go to this, then you have to go to this. What you're looking at is a product called Final Argument. I was the developer of this product. Let me see if I can mirror my screen so you can see what I see. And what I'm seeing is my slides laid out in kind of a logical order. So I can jump into those slides, manipulate them, draw on them, write on them. And I have this map that's told me the arc of the story that I wanted to tell you. I said, oh, I just got a Twitter. So here's Han Solo, there's Chewie, there's this, then we go to this, then we go down to here, then we go to the carbon freezer, and there, and we're back to the jury charge. And what we wanted to do was to try to give you a way to very easily, and I don't want to come up here and like shill and like, here, buy this. Anybody who wants this, email me, I'll get you a code you can get for free. It's $5 anyway, but I'll get you a code. We're trying to overcome a problem, which was how do you make a presentation fast? How do you make it easy? How do you show people kind of what you want to show them? And if you can see this at the bottom, we want to be able to pull from different buckets like Photos, Dropbox, Evernote, Google Drive. So one of the things, as we finally get into mapping here, and I finally start to make my point, is that we can use maps in a lot of ways. And one of the really good ways is to take something really complicated like a jury charge, bring that into our map, and make it really simple for people to understand. Because in all those ways that it's hard for people to understand things, sometimes we can make it easy. Because we can take something like a jury charge and say, look, I don't know if you can see this blue very well. Here's the elements. We just got to prove a touching that somebody didn't consent to, and then it damaged them somehow. Either that with intent to harm or to damage them. Either it physically harmed them or somebody was intending to offend somebody, and a reasonable person would have got offended by the touching. So they don't have to hurt him. But in this case, what did we prove? Did Jabba intend to touch Han Solo, or did he cause touching? Yeah. Because he got Boba Fett to get him, right? He caused that to happen. Did he intend to harm him? Hell yeah, he intended to harm him. Did Solo ask for this? No. When you get frozen? No. That means he didn't ask for it. Damage. Actual harm, carbon freezing. I rest my case. So that's what we're trying.
This is my cousin Vinny.
It's my cousin. I rest my case. Yeah. We're going to rip off a lot of people's franchises here if we can. Yeah. So now let me see if I can switch really quickly.
But wait, there's more.
Oh wait, there's still more. You guys do know that what's his name got put in prison the other day? What's the guy's name? Kevin Trudeau. But wait, there's still more. Anyway, just to decide. So reverse order: collect, organize, and present. We just presented something to you. And I'll come to how we did that. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Lean, where do I point to make this thing work? Old school. Okay. Liam, it's not working.
You just hit the right button.
I don't know which one's the right button.
The right hand.
Right.
The other right.
That's right.
Oh, right.
Okay. So, oh, you got to turn it on.
Yeah.
We're just on the wrong side.
So, what I want to say to you is, and Ron made this point to me earlier. He said, you know, every time I Googled you, and you just get all these people say bad things about you in mind mapping, and you're crazy. You know, I have to talk to lawyers about this and convince them it's valuable. You all already know it's valuable. I don't have to convince you of anything, right? And so, like, when I would go to the ABA Tech Show and say, look, Mom, I made the ABA Journal. Look how cool it is. Mom would say, yeah, you know, I see that you're in the ABA Journal. Whoops, let's see. Here's what Tim had to say. They're total quacks. My legal consulting firm will, for a small fee, test your brain's aura with the ancient art of Carillion photography. So those are the kind of things you're going to get. But it doesn't matter because you guys are my people and I'm already preaching to the choir, as they say. The three benefits of mind mapping for lawyers and everybody is you understand your information better. If you're a lawyer, you understand your case. If it's a project, you understand that better. You remember your case better. Michael Deutsch, are you in here still? Michael, he's out there. Michael, this is my now 14-year-old son, been about 12, studying for his Latin final. Michael Deutsch, who I have talked to many times with MindJet, got me an old copy for his ancient Windows Millennium computer that would run. And he was studying Latin there, and he did well on his test finally, so he still uses that. And you'll communicate your case more effectively. So what do lawyers do, or what do we all do? Here's yet my third trademark infringement of the day. Glengarry, very good. I won't use the speech or the language. What do we all do? We all collect things, we all organize things, we all present things, right? Turning into a MindJet Jedi in 3 minutes now. Level 1, Padawan. What do you need to be able to do? You need to be able to move topics around, hook topics up, getting things into the map. If I could tell you one thing, and if they'll give me like 2 extra minutes to do it, I'll show you. There is a great, underutilized, underappreciated feature in MindJet called dynamic indexing. What that means is that when you tag something like Chance was showing you how to tag things, there's a feature you can enable. And I'm going to show you this very end. Don't let me forget. A feature you can enable that will turn your map inside out. So in other words, anything that if Chance tags something with important, right, and you tag 27 things in a map of 1,000 items with important, he could look on the right side of his map, see the word important as a tag, and then see everything listed under it in alphabetical order that was important. Figure out what that is and use it. You have a database under the skin with MindJet. That's a very, very good feature. So that's the Padawan level. Think about things like this. You know, a map is great. Not everything can go into it. Not everything should go into it. Evernote is an amazing tool. What we need to be doing more of, I think, that makes this the missing link is coalescing things, using other things like Evernote and Dropbox as places to put all of our stuff, pulling the things that are more relevant into a map. That's how we make a story with the map. That's why in the app that we designed, we could pull from Dropbox and Evernote. So Jedi Knight, this is again the tagging and filtering. Dynamic indexing, the least appreciated, most useful part of MindNet that you never heard of. Make sure you find it. You'll have to enable it. I can show you how to do it. Michael can show you how to do it. The Yoda stuff is this. Here's the thing about telling any story, or trying to convince anybody of anything. Is anybody kayaking here? Almost done. All right, so what do you do first? You want to know where you're going to go, right? You want to know, well, you pretty much do. If you're on any kind of a dangerous river, you want to scout it first and know the territory, okay? You want to, when you get on the river, things don't always go exactly like you planned. You want to have a plan. And then when you get into like an eddy or something like that, you can execute your plan. Telling a story is exactly like a river, like this. You know about where you want to go, and you go down the river and you tell certain things, but what you do is you hit a certain point, like an eddy. You expand upon that point. When you get to that point, that's when you talk about things. Just like when I was talking about Han Solo, I said, once upon a time there was a guy named Han Solo. Let me tell you about Han Solo. We're in that eddy now, and we're using the information that we collected to make that part of our compelling story. So, 2 great tools on an iPad. iThoughts HD Final Argument is the thing that I just showed you. I'm out of time. If anybody has any questions, come get me. I'll be happy to answer them.
Thanks.